All good.
No, thank you so much for your patience.
Hey, no worries, man. How you been?
I've been better than I deserve. Having a great time, just touring and playing music and chatting with amazing people and gearing up for this fantastic tour of Australia.
Mate, it'll be insane. How many times has it been postponed now?
I don't even know. I think twice, but I mean, the world has just been a crazy place, and I'm glad that I think we're putting the bulk of it in the rearview mirror, as they say.
Yeah. Hey, how was your last tour back in 2018? What are your memories of that?
Oh, it's fantastic. Best atmosphere, incredible crowds. It's like some of the best rock fans in the world are in Australia. I we always look forward to it. It's something that it's hard to describe because um, culturally, Australia, the UK, Germany, Eastern Europe, they all have their own kind of cultures and atmosphere at the
Oh,
shows.
oh.
Much fun, and it's just such a lively atmosphere. We have such a great time.
Has your face recovered? Because you face planted in Adelaide, climbing back from the crowd onto the stage. How did you go? You must have ended up with a bit of a headache after that one.
So I dislocated my jaw and I broke my thumb. And I
Is that
broke the
right?
thumb on my picking hand. So because it fell underneath the guitar, so the guitar crushed my thumb against the stage. So it actually broke the entire tip of my thumb off. Yeah, I didn't
Fucking
know it at the time. I know it's crazy. And I finished the set and I played the next night.
yeah.
It was
Fuck.
crazy. I know. Yeah, it was the first time I took a big injury. But like it's rock and roll. It's like I didn't want to, in wrestling terms, I didn't want to sell it to the audience. I didn't want them to know that I had taken a
Fuck.
beating. I mean, it was a pretty obvious fall.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw what happened, but I
I
was jumping
saw
from the barricade to the
I saw
stage, and my friend.
exactly what happened. It happened about 10 feet from me, and I just put my camera down, right? And it happened, and I'm like, fuck. Everyone just went, fuck, that would have hurt. But we didn't know the full extent, and it seems neither did you at the time.
No, I didn't. As a matter of fact, the crazy part about it is just because I'm an old school guy and I grew up with like
Oh, hang on. I've lost you. A pretty unstable connection here. Keep going. Are you
I've
there?
been I've been yeah, I've had a little
Okay.
bit of tendonitis over the years in my hand. So about 3 months after the tour, I went to a doctor to just have my hands looked at to see if there was something going on, something medically that I could do to fix it. Because it basically happened like if I would play guitar for 2.5 hours straight, my hands would get really sore. And it
Yeah.
used to be that wasn't a problem. I could play all day. So the doctor x-rayed my hands and he goes, "When did you break your thumb?" And I was like, "Oh, my thumb's not broken." And he's like, "No, your thumb is broken." He showed me the x-ray. The entire tip of my thumb was separated from the rest of it. And then I thought, "Oh, that must have been what happened when the guitar crushed on the top of my hand." Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Hey, li listen, worse things have happened in rock and roll, right? It was just I lived to tell the tale.
That which doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
Amen, sir.
Hey, apart from that, fucking hell, that threw me for six. That I didn't. Wow. Okay, new album out, Boombox. How's that going?
Been fantastic. It's the a lot of our records all of our records we've loved. It's our records. We made them, so we obviously were happy with them. We love our albums. This is the first time we wrote a record that really straddled the fence between some really quality album tracks and some bangers that you could play live. A lot of times, like in the earlier in our career, we were writing a lot in the kind of the live room together. So you end up writing live tracks for songs that feel great and
Yeah.
have that atmosphere for the live stuff. And
Yeah.
then later, we're starting to write songs in the studio that feel more like album cuts with big choruses. Um, and it feels like we just kind of struck the right chord to balance the both, which is great for us because we've had some great radio success with it. And at the same time, live, we've got all these big riffs that, have been some real headbangers, which has been fun for us. I like living in both worlds. I grew up with AOR music, and that was always a big part of my heart. But then my other heart lies with Metallica and Slayer and Pantera, Sepultura. So yes, exactly right. I have this duality that wants to have these big soaring melodies, and at the same time, I love to have a good crushing riff.
Interesting. I got to mention this. There's an interesting cover version on that album. How did that come about?
I have an '80s tribute band called Guardians of the Jukebox that I play when Fozzy's not on tour. And we basically just do like the MTV hits from the '80s. And one of the songs we play is "Relax" by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And
Okay.
and Fozzy singer Chris Jericho came to see Guardians of the Jukebox play, and he was like, "That is fantastic." Um, and it is because it's a dance track that doesn't realize that it's a heavy metal song in waiting, because it it really was screaming out for a big Rammstein, Metallica, Rob Zombie treatment. It just had that thing. It just it's da da da. Dun, 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 dun. It just feels it was ready for it, for that interpretation, and it's a fun party track. So
Yeah.
and we a couple of albums ago we did a cover of ABBA's
Yeah.
SOS, and
Yeah.
for us always trying to find songs that aren't aren't necessarily the logical songs for covering. Sometimes it's fun to go a little outside the lines to find a distant cousin that wants to join you on this journey.
I tell you what, one track I've always thought was a banger, to quote you, waiting to sort of get out, and someone should do it. And that is Fleetwood Mac, Go Your Own Way.
Oh, I love that song. It's a
Someone,
fantastic song.
next album.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for that suggestion.
I
That
want to
is it.
credit.
Yeah, I
I
love
want to
that
credit on
song.
the liner
Yeah.
notes.
Yes, you will get it, sir. Yeah, and Jericho and I are both huge Fleetwood Mac fans, so that fits perfectly with us.
Yeah. In
Uh-oh.
the intervening years, with all the shit that's been happening in the world, how much of a toll has that taken on venues that you would once normally play? The reason I ask that was before you came to Australia last time, um, my wife and I were in the States and we saw you at a place called Slim's in San Francisco. Now, just out of curiosity, I had a look at that on Google before I spoke to you, and it's got permanently closed. Have you had that occur much?
Yeah, it especially the states. The way that the government is set up here, all the states have kind of autonomy, so they can kind of decide for themselves who wants to be open and who wanted to shut down. And California stayed shut down a little longer than some other states, and I think it hurt them badly. I mean, obviously, they were doing what they felt like was the right decision for health purposes, but as is life, with every decision comes by the byproduct, and unfortunately there's been a few California venues that we've lost, which is sad.
Mm,
You always hate to hear that because first of all, they're institutions for the rock and metal
mm,
community to come together and to celebrate life and music in, so you hate to lose that. And then the other part of it is just that these people are losing their life savings,
mm.
invested in these venues that they've worked hard to open and maintain for us. Um, and it's a shame. I know the government's been working hard to try to keep these places open, and good for them. That we should try to maintain whatever we can to help keep these places open. But yeah, there has been some. How things been for you there?
Most of our venues that were going before are still going. Some went through some hard times, and we had a rescue gig, if you like, where bands played for free to sort of get some um, money coming in. But most of our, I can't think of any that have shut down permanently off the top of my head. What we're having now is that now the gates are open and there's gigs happening all the time. All these international tours like yourself that were postponed, they're all happening now, right?
Right.
It's fucking out of control now. And there was
Yeah.
one recently where it was organised pretty late in the day, and there were like the regular venues were all booked, so they had to play in like the front bar of the main regular venue. So we got this tiny little bar, and we got Heathen, thrash band Heathen, playing in this front bar. It was fucking crazy, man. It was crazy.
I bet. I bet it was fun.
Oh, it was. It was. Yeah, it was different.
I
It
remember,
was good.
I remember spending some time talking with you outside the bus and outside of Slim's. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it was a
yeah.
fucking good night, mate. That was a good place. It was just a
It
bit
was a
odd with
great
that.
place.
It was a bit odd with that post right at the edge of the stage there.
Yeah,
But no, it was a good night,
yeah.
man.
There's a lot of these venues are, they weren't purpose built, so
No.
it used to be something else that's now become a venue. And if I had $1 for every time there was a post, I was like, why is it in front of me? Why can't it be in front of the other side? Come on, man. I don't want the post.
You
Yeah.
were trying to kick
So,
it down
but
though.
hey, listen. Yeah,
Uh
yeah. It's so funny that you say that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
good times, good times. Hey, if you weren't in a band,
Yes. When
what would you be doing?
I'd probably be managing a movie theater. I love films and cinema, so I'd love the idea of working at a cinema. That'd be fantastic. All you do all
Yeah.
day is eat popcorn and help people who love movies. And that was one of my first jobs I had when I was in school, working in a movie theater as a projectionist. I used to get the big platters with the big reels and
Yeah.
assemble all the movies together, put the trailers on the beginning of them, put them on the big spool, start them when the movie started. And I used to love that job. It was a great gig. Yeah, I always thought, hey, if nobody wants to see live music anymore, I'd go submit an application at my local cinema. Yeah, it'd be a great job.
It would be a good job. It'd be a bit different now though. No big reels. It's just a little fucking cartridge, isn't it?
No, your thumb drive.
Going through your live set, now you're getting more and more albums. The set list is getting longer and longer and longer, and you've got to cut tracks out. What is one track which you think you'll never be able to cut out of your live set?
It would definitely be Judas at this point.
Mm.
That's kind of our. It's now become our staple. I mean, it used to be. I used to think "Enemy" was our song. It was kind of our oldest fan favorite that we had always played. But I even think you could probably substitute out "Enemy" for another older track at some point. But I think Judas, because it's Chris's ring music entrance now. I think it's
Oh, yeah.
become synonymous with the band, and it's become such a big success for us. That would be hard to leave it out. I saw Judas Priest like 4 years ago, and they didn't play "You Got Another Thing Coming," which was like a massive hit for them in the United States, and I
Mm.
was
Yeah.
shocked and didn't understand why. But they were just wanting to kind of honor the old school fans with a lot of deep cuts. I was like, well, you could still play that and all the old deep cuts. It was
Yeah.
very strange, but I respected the boldness of the move. But I think for
Mm.
us, because Judas is a lot like that for Judas Priest, where it's like even randos that are not Judas Priest fans have heard that song. It's part of the pop lexicon of the culture. So yeah, so I think Judas would be the song for sure.
Yeah. Okay, man. Right. So, gee, the tour is nearly upon us. It's just
I know, just a few days away.
Oh, man. Okay. You've given yourself a day off at least in between Brisbane and Melbourne. That's good, because I'm always concerned about these overseas bands that come here and they're here for 5 days. They do 5 shows. Bang, 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 bang. And then they're gone. They get no time to relax. So you've given yourself a day off, or someone's giving you a day off. So that's good. Take advantage of that. What are you doing? Are you going to the zoo? Have you been to the zoo before? Have you touched a kangaroo, a koala? What's going on?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've been to a couple of the kangaroo parks, the reserves, and I've been to the Sydney Zoo twice now. So on our day off we have a day off in Melbourne. So on that day, we're doing a podcast with for Jericho's podcast, where I just got notification we're going to do a classic album clash podcast, and we're gonna take the night off to have a really nice meal, and then at the end of the tour, the last day of the tour, I'm going to fly to Sydney and we're going to go to the zoo. So yeah, so we'll have 2 days off because I'm gonna stay an extra day at the end.
Excellent.
Yeah, because I love Australia, and it's coming halfway across the planet. I don't want to rush in and rush out.
No,
I always come in a day early too, to
Good.
get my body clock a little, so I can get some rest, a nice dinner in me the night before. I love traveling. It's a privilege to do what we do, and I don't have kids, so I don't have the necessity to be there for school functions or athletic games and stuff. I can live my life like just a crazy free person.
Excellent. Good to see you're giving yourself some time to get acclimatized, because it's a long flight.
Yes,
Let's
it
be
is.
frank, it's a long flight.
You've done it, so yeah. It's for our travel day is 26 hours of total travel, just the travel, not layovers. Yeah. So yeah, it's a long day. But the thing about it is that if you're a novice, it's a nightmare. If you've done it before, you learn what you have to do. You just make sure that you have a nice meal before you get on the plane, get a full belly, and sleep all that you can. Sleep, 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 sleep. And then when you get to your destination, stay up until the time you have to go to sleep. Even if you're dead tired from the flight, stay up until the nighttime. Go to sleep then. Force yourself to get up at a proper time. Try to get on schedule as quick as you can. My priority is the gigs. As long as I'm on schedule and I'm primed for the show, that's all that matters. It would be nice if I had a clear head to have a nice coffee and have a nice meal at a local restaurant and savor a little bit of local culture. I love that. But ultimately, you got to be ready for the gig. That's why you're there.
Yeah. Hey, I reckon we're out of time, man. Can I get you to do one thing for me? Give us the horns up in the camera for me.
Of course.
Give us the horns. Come on. Excellent. Thank you. It's important to be heavy metal about it. Hey, man.
Hey, 100%.
Hey, thanks for the chat, man. Good luck. We'll see you soon. Take care of yourself. Be careful climbing that barrier at the gigs, man.
Hey, it's great to talk to you again. It's a real honor. It was great to see you in San Francisco, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few days.
We'll be there. Take care, man.
That's it. Thanks, Mel. Thank you, baby.